What if I told you that one simple habit, just 60 seconds long, could reignite the very energy and confidence you thought time had taken away? Imagine feeling your blood flow stronger, your body lighter, and your spirit more alive without a single pill or prescription. For many men, this sounds impossible, but the truth is closer than you think. I'm Dr. James, a men's health specialist with over 30 years of experience helping men in their 60s and beyond restore their vitality. I've seen patients walk into my office feeling drained and defeated, only to rediscover strength and joy with the right natural approach. Here's the paradox. Most men believe aging means inevitable decline, but in reality, your body isn't broken. It's waiting for a natural switch, a small but powerful signal to remind it how to function as it once did. And that's exactly what I'm about to share with you today. A daily ritual so simple yet so effective, it can support circulation, calm stress, and boost your hormones in ways that modern science fully recognizes. Just 60 seconds can set this transformation in motion. Stay with me, because the most important detail, the part men often miss, comes later, and you'll want to hear it before you take your very first step. Before we get started, I'd love for you to subscribe and tap the bell so you never miss a simple tip to keep your energy and confidence strong. And if this message speaks to you, let me know in the comments. I always value hearing from you. Now let's talk about what really changes after 60. It's not just age, it's the hidden forces inside your body that slowly steal your drive and strength. Understanding these enemies is the first step, because once you see them clearly, you'll know exactly how to fight back naturally. 1. The real enemy after 60. When a man crosses the threshold of 60, the world tells him he is slowing down, that his best years are behind him. But the truth is, the real enemy is not the number of candles on your birthday cake. It's the quiet, hidden changes taking place inside your body, often without your permission, that make you feel weaker, heavier, and less like yourself. And unless we bring those forces into the light, they continue to chip away at your energy, your confidence, and even your sense of purpose. One of the most powerful enemies is the slow decline of testosterone. This isn't just about intimacy. It's about the very hormone that fuels drive, focus, strength, and resilience. As levels drop, men often wake up feeling heavy, dragging through the day without spark, and losing motivation for even the simple joys of life. I've seen countless patients tell me, "Doc, I just don't feel like the man I used to be." And I tell them it's not their fault, it's biology at work. But biology can be guided, it can be reminded, and it can be reignited. The second hidden enemy is the stiffening of blood vessels. Imagine your circulation as a highway delivering oxygen and nutrients to every cell. Over the years, that highway narrows. The flow slows down. Muscles don't recover, the brain feels foggy, and yes, even intimate performance fades. Men begin to think it's simply age closing in, but really it's the narrowing of those vital channels. And just like any road, those channels can be cleared, widened, and revitalized with the right signal. Then there is stress, the constant drip of cortisol that builds like poison in the system. Bills, health worries, family concerns, it all adds up. A small dose of cortisol is useful in a moment of danger, but when it stays high, day after day, it steals sleep, shuts down testosterone, and leaves men exhausted before the day even begins. Stress may be invisible, but its weight is heavy. Many men carry it silently, not realizing how much it shapes their energy and their mood. And let's not forget inflammation, that silent fire smoldering in your body. You can't always see it, but you feel it in the stiff joints, the morning aches, the slower recovery. It's like rust inside the system, gradually corroding the machinery of life. Left unchecked, inflammation doesn't just make you sore, it drains vitality, clouds your thinking, and accelerates decline. Now here's the important part. None of these enemies, low testosterone, stiff blood vessels, stress, or inflammation, mean your body is broken. They mean your body is waiting for a natural reminder, a daily signal that says, "Wake up, it's time to work the way you were designed." That's why so many men, when they discover this signal, feel the change so quickly. It's not forcing something unnatural. It's giving your body permission to thrive again. I've seen men who thought they were finished, who believed decline was permanent, suddenly stand taller, sleep deeper, laugh more, and feel their confidence return. And it wasn't because they fought harder, it was because they finally learned how to work with their body instead of against it. The real enemy after 60 is not age itself, but the hidden forces that whisper you're done when in reality you are not. Once you know how to counter those forces, everything changes. And that brings us to the surprising natural ally that has been hiding in plain sight, a tiny spice with the power to send that signal your body has been waiting for. Curious to know what it is? Stay with me, because you're about to find out. 2. The natural powerhouse, clove. When people hear the word clove, they often think of a spice tucked away in the kitchen, something that might remind them of the holidays or a warm family recipe from long ago. But hidden inside this small, overlooked bud is a natural force far greater than most men ever realize. It is not exotic, not expensive, not rare. It is ordinary, simple, and yet extraordinary in its ability to awaken the male body after 60. For centuries, clove has been used in traditional medicine, praised for its healing oils and calming aroma. But today, modern science is confirming what ancient healers already knew. Clove carries within it a unique power to restore circulation, reduce inflammation, and even rebalance hormones. The key lies in a compound called eugenol. This is not just a pleasant scent or a burst of flavor on your tongue. Eugenol is a natural vasodilator, which means it helps blood vessels relax and open, allowing life-giving blood to flow freely once again. Think of it as turning on a switch, releasing oxygen and nutrients to every corner of your body. For men over 60 whose circulation has slowly narrowed and stiffened, this simple action can feel like a breath of new life. Patients often describe it as a subtle warmth in the chest, a feeling of energy rising again after years of decline. But clove doesn't stop there. Inside its tiny frame is another gift, beta-caryophyllene. This compound works directly on receptors in your brain that govern stress and calm. In a world where cortisol runs high and anxiety weighs heavy, this natural element whispers to the nervous system, telling it to relax, to let go, to restore balance. When stress falls, testosterone is allowed to rise and the body begins to repair what constant worry and pressure have broken down. Many men who try this daily ritual tell me that they not only feel physically stronger, but mentally clearer and more at peace, as if a weight has finally been lifted. What makes clove so remarkable is its dual action. On one hand, it strengthens the body by opening circulation, fueling the muscles, the brain, and even intimacy. On the other, it soothes the mind, lowering cortisol, calming the nervous system, and setting the stage for deeper sleep and stronger hormone production. Few natural substances can do both with such simplicity. And yet clove, humble and small, performs this work without chemicals, without side effects, without the price tag of modern drugs. Imagine this: every time you chew a clove in just 60 seconds, you are sending signals through your bloodstream and your brain that say, wake up, heal, restore. It is not forcing your body to act in a way it resists. It is reminding your body of what it was always designed to do. This is why so many men, after years of feeling flat and tired, suddenly notice new energy, clearer focus, and even renewed confidence in their most personal moments. I have watched men in their 60s, 70s, and even 80s embrace this small habit and describe the change with awe. One patient told me it felt like someone had flipped a switch inside him. Another said his mornings were brighter, his walks felt easier, and his nights were finally restful. The power was never lost. It was simply waiting to be awakened by the right natural ally. Clove is proof that sometimes the answers are not hidden in faraway places or in complicated treatments. Sometimes they are sitting quietly on a kitchen shelf waiting to be rediscovered. And while clove is the star of this story, what makes it even more powerful is how perfectly it fits the needs of men over 60, addressing the very struggles that hold them back. Which brings us to the question every man must ask. Why does this age make the difference, and why does clove matter more now than ever before? The answer might surprise you. 3. Why men over 60 need this most. There comes a moment in every man's life when the weight of the years feels heavier than the number itself. For many, that moment arrives sometime after 60. You wake in the morning and notice that the sleep you once counted on no longer feels refreshing. The spark that carried you through your day is dimmer. Climbing stairs leaves you short of breath. The focus you once had, the sharpness you relied on, begins to blur. And perhaps most quietly, but most painfully, the confidence you carried in your body and in your most intimate moments starts to slip away. These changes are not random. They are the natural result of shifts that take place in the male body after 60. Testosterone, the very hormone that fuels strength, drive, and vitality, is at its lowest point in decades. At the same time, blood vessels that once flowed like strong rivers begin to narrow and stiffen, slowing the delivery of oxygen and nutrients. The body's stress response, shaped by years of responsibility and worry, pumps cortisol more often than it should. And inflammation, that hidden fire, continues to smolder beneath the surface, draining energy and clouding the mind. Together, these changes make a man feel older than he truly is. This is precisely why Clove matters most after 60. It speaks directly to the struggles that define this stage of life. By opening blood vessels through eugenol, Clove helps restore the flow that time has tried to restrict. By calming the nervous system through beta-caryophyllene, it lowers cortisol, giving testosterone the chance to rise again. By reducing inflammation, it eases the stiffness and fatigue that so often steal joy from simple daily activities. And by supporting deep, restorative sleep, it creates the conditions for your body to heal and rebuild each night, just as it was designed to do. I've seen men who believed decline was inevitable discover that their bodies still respond, still remember, still want to thrive. One man told me that after chewing cloves each night, he felt as though his mornings had been given back to him. He woke not only more refreshed but eager to face the day. Another described how intimacy, something he thought was gone forever, returned quietly and naturally, without pills, without embarrassment, without forcing anything unnatural. The difference was not in fighting age, but in reminding his body of its own power. For men over 60, every choice matters more. The wrong habits accelerate decline, but the right habits open doors to energy, confidence, and strength that still belong to you. That is why Clove, though small, carries such weight at this time of life. It is a gentle, natural ally that works with your body, not against it. It does not promise to make you 20 again, but it does promise to restore what is still alive within you. The circulation, the balance, the hormones, the calm that keep you strong, capable, and fully present. So if you have ever wondered whether the best days are truly behind you, hear this: they are not. Your body is waiting for the signal to awaken, to remind itself of what it can still do. And that signal can begin with something as simple as chewing a tiny spice for 60 seconds a day. The question is no longer whether you can feel better, it is how to begin. And that brings us to the practical part, the 60-second habit itself, the simple steps that can turn this knowledge into daily transformation. Would you like to know exactly how it works? 4. How to do it. The 60-second habit. At this point, you may be asking yourself, how can something so small create such meaningful change? The beauty lies not in complexity, but in simplicity. Nature has always provided what the body needs, and sometimes the most powerful remedies are the easiest to overlook. That's exactly the case here. What I am about to describe is not a ritual that demands expensive equipment or a prescription you must refill month after month. It is a daily practice so simple that any man can do it anywhere without help, without fuss, without fear. Here is how you begin. Take 2 or 3 whole dried cloves. Not the powder, not the extract, just the pure whole buds you may already have sitting quietly in your kitchen. Place them gently between your molars. Bite down just enough to crack them open. In that moment, the warm, spicy oil is released. This is eugenol, and it is your body's signal. As the oil spreads across your tongue, your gums, and the inside of your cheeks, it is absorbed directly into your bloodstream. Already, the process of renewal has begun. Hold the cloves in your mouth for about 30 seconds. Do not rush. Let the oil wash over you. Inhale deeply through your nose and take in the comforting aroma. Feel the warmth it creates, subtle but unmistakable, as if your body is already beginning to wake. Then, after 30 seconds, chew the pieces a little more, just enough to release a second wave of their precious oils. Keep this gentle chewing for another 30 seconds. In 1 minute, you have set in motion a series of changes that touch circulation, hormones, and even your nervous system. What happens next is up to you. You may swallow the small pieces, allowing your digestive system to capture the remaining compounds, or you may spit them out. Both ways are effective. The key is not what you do afterward. The key is the act itself, that mindful minute when you and your body are working together in harmony. The timing matters as well. I recommend twice a day for best results. First, in the morning before breakfast. This is when your body is waking from rest and needs a natural, calm surge of energy to start the day. Instead of reaching for caffeine, which spikes and crashes, Clove offers steady focus and clarity. Second, in the evening, about an hour before bed. This is when your nervous system is preparing for rest, when cortisol needs to fall, when testosterone will be built during the night's deep sleep. Chewing cloves at this time prepares your body for the kind of restorative sleep that builds hormones and repairs tissues. Think of it as brushing your teeth. You do it daily, not because you expect instant results, but because consistency builds health over time. The clove ritual is no different. Each chew is like a message sent to your body, reminding it of what it was designed to do: circulate blood freely, balance hormones, calm the mind, and keep you strong. Many men describe the experience in vivid terms. Some notice a warmth spreading through the chest within minutes. Others feel their thoughts clearing, their breathing deepening, their shoulders relaxing. Over time, what begins as a small ritual grows into a foundation for energy, confidence, and intimacy. The change is not forced, not artificial, but natural, your body awakening to its own strength. And so the question becomes, what should you expect if you keep this up? What changes will unfold in the days and weeks ahead? That is where the Clove timeline comes in. A roadmap of the transformation many men begin to see in as little as 1 week. Would you like to know what happens at day 7, day 14, and day 30? 5. The Clove timeline. What to expect. When men hear about a simple habit like chewing cloves, they often wonder how long it will take before they notice any change. It's a fair question. After all, most of us have been conditioned to expect either instant results from a pill or no results at all from something natural. But the truth about Clove is this: it works steadily, gently, and consistently. It doesn't shock the system, it reminds the system. And when you give it time, the body begins to respond in remarkable ways. In the first 7 days, the changes are often subtle but very real. Many men describe a light warmth in their chest or abdomen not long after chewing. It feels as though circulation is awakening, as though something inside is stirring after years of being quiet. Sleep begins to shift as well. Instead of lying awake staring at the ceiling, many men find themselves drifting off more easily, even experiencing dreams they haven't had in years. That is a sign of deeper, restorative rest. Some also notice that the morning fog that usually greets them is lighter, that they rise with a touch more energy. For a few, even the early stirrings of morning arousal return, a signal that testosterone is being given room to breathe again. By day 14, these subtle signals grow stronger. Energy feels more consistent throughout the day, not rising and crashing, but flowing in a steady current. Men tell me they no longer need that afternoon nap or extra cup of coffee just to push through. Their focus sharpens. They read the newspaper with more attention. They complete tasks without forgetting what they were doing halfway through. The circulation is improving, and it shows not only in their stamina but in their mood. Motivation, once buried under fatigue, begins to surface. Simple activities like taking a walk, fixing something around the house, or even enjoying a quiet moment with a partner feel less like chores and more like pleasures again. Then comes the 30-day mark, and here the transformation is undeniable. Erections become stronger, more reliable, more natural. Intimacy that once felt distant now feels possible again. bringing back a confidence that extends far beyond the bedroom. Energy carries through from morning to evening without the heavy crashes that once defined the day. Fatigue, the quiet thief of joy, begins to fade into the background. Men who once believed their decline was permanent look in the mirror and see someone they recognize again, a man with strength in his posture, light in his eyes, and purpose in his steps. Often it's their partners who notice first. I've had wives tell me with a smile, "Doctor, I don't know what you gave him, but he's himself again." It's important to remember that these changes are not the result of magic. They are the result of consistency. Every chew is like tapping your body on the shoulder and saying, "Remember how to thrive." The men who commit, who stay with the ritual morning and night, are the ones who see the most profound shifts. And the beauty of it is that this transformation builds on itself. Better sleep leads to stronger testosterone. Stronger testosterone leads to more energy. More energy leads to more activity, which further improves circulation. It becomes a positive cycle, each step reinforcing the next. So if after 7 days you begin to feel the stirrings of change, don't stop. If after 14 days you notice your energy building, keep going. Because at 30 days and beyond, the body reveals just how much it was waiting for this signal. And that brings us to the question many men ask me in the clinic. Why does this tiny spice have such power to touch circulation, stress, hormones, and even oral health all at once? The answer lies in the science, and once you understand it, the results make perfect sense. Would you like to know why Clove works the way it does? 6. Why it works. The science made simple. For many men, the idea that a small spice like clove could change how they feel sounds almost too good to be true. But the beauty of this habit is that it isn't built on mystery or wishful thinking. It is grounded in real biology, in the way your body responds to natural compounds that support the very systems time has been slowing down. When you understand how it works, the changes you begin to notice suddenly make perfect sense, and the hope you feel is no longer just hope, it is confidence rooted in science. Let's begin with circulation. At the core of every feeling of energy, every moment of strength, and every intimate experience is blood flow. Without proper circulation, muscles cannot receive oxygen, the brain cannot stay sharp, and the body begins to feel sluggish. Eugenol, the active compound in clove, is a natural vasodilator. That means it gently relaxes the walls of your blood vessels, allowing them to widen and carry blood more freely. This simple act improves oxygen delivery to every part of your body, from your heart to your brain to the smallest vessels that control performance and confidence. It's the same principle behind modern medications, but here it happens naturally, without chemicals forcing the process. Next is stress, the invisible enemy that quietly steals vitality from men in their 60s and beyond. When cortisol, the stress hormone, remains high, it wreaks havoc on testosterone, sleep, and energy. Clove contains beta-caryophyllene, a compound that interacts with the receptors in the brain to calm the nervous system. It is as if clove whispers to your body, "You are safe. You can let go." With this natural calming effect, cortisol drops, testosterone rises, and the body finally has the freedom to restore itself. Men often describe the feeling not as a rush, but as a gentle release, a lightness in the chest, or a quiet in the mind they haven't felt in years. Hormones are another crucial piece of the puzzle. Testosterone is produced most efficiently during deep, restorative sleep. But if stress is high and sleep is shallow, testosterone remains low. By helping the body slip into deeper rest, Clove sets the stage for hormone production to strengthen once again. Over time, this cycle compounds. Better sleep leads to stronger testosterone, which fuels energy, muscle repair, mental clarity, and intimacy. This is not artificial, it is the body doing what it was always designed to do once the barriers are removed. One more area where Clove makes a surprising impact is oral health. Many men don't realize how much their gums affect their overall vitality. Inflammation or infection in the gums can send harmful bacteria into the bloodstream, narrowing arteries and restricting circulation. Eugenol has natural antiseptic and anti-inflammatory properties. As the oil spreads across your gums while you chew, it reduces inflammation and fights bacteria. Fresher breath and healthier gums are welcome benefits, but the deeper victory is in protecting your circulation, keeping blood flowing to the places that need it most. Taken together, these effects explain why men who commit to this ritual begin to feel such wide-reaching improvements. Better circulation, calmer stress responses, stronger hormones, and healthier gums all work together, creating a foundation for energy and confidence that feels natural because it is natural. What you are experiencing is not a trick or a placebo. It is your body responding to the right support at the right time. And this is why I tell my patients that clove is more than a spice. It is a signal, a daily reminder to your body to function as it was built to. Each chew reinforces that message, and each day builds on the last. But as powerful as the science is, the true reason this matters goes beyond biology. It is about how these changes touch your heart, your relationships, and your sense of self. And that is the most important part of all, which is exactly where we are headed next. Would you like to hear why this matters on a deeper, more personal level? 7. The emotional core. Why this matters. At the end of the day, science and biology only tell part of the story. What truly matters is how these changes make you feel as a man, as a husband, as a father, as a grandfather, and as a human being who still wants to live fully. Too often, men over 60 are told to accept decline as a fact of life, to simply adjust to lower energy, fading confidence, and a quiet loss of joy. But I have seen firsthand that decline does not have to define these years. When circulation improves, when stress lowers, when hormones rise, something far more important happens. You begin to feel like yourself again. And that is not just medicine. That is life. I've had men come into my office with their shoulders heavy, eyes dim, and voices flat. They tell me they feel invisible, as though the world has passed them by. Then weeks later, those same men return standing straighter, smiling more, speaking with a spark that had been missing for years. They tell me they feel present again, that their families notice the difference, that they are no longer just surviving the day but actually enjoying it. This is the heart of what Clove offers. It is not simply about blood vessels or testosterone. It is about giving men their dignity, their drive, and their hope back. Think of what happens when you have the energy to play with your grandchildren instead of sitting in the chair watching. Think of the joy when your partner looks at you with warmth, because intimacy no longer feels like a memory, but a reality again. Think of the pride you feel when you wake up, tackle the day with clarity, and go to bed at night satisfied instead of drained. These are not small victories. These are the very things that make life meaningful. One man told me that chewing cloves every night didn't just help him sleep, it gave him peace of mind. He no longer lay awake worrying about what he could not control. He drifted into rest, woke refreshed, and carried that calm into his day. Another said that intimacy with his wife returned after years of frustration, and it brought them closer than they had been in decades. These stories are not rare. They are the natural result of a body that has been reminded of its own strength. What I want you to understand is that this is not about turning back the clock. It is about living today with the fullness you deserve. Age does not erase your value, and it does not erase your potential for joy. Your body is not finished. It is waiting for the right signal, the right reminder. Clove is one way to provide that reminder, and the ripple effect it creates touches every part of your life. Your health, your relationships, your confidence, your peace. So when I say this matters, I am not speaking only as a doctor, but as someone who has seen the transformation in real men, men who thought they had no options left. What matters is not the spice itself, but what it unlocks inside you, the ability to live with strength, calm, and connection once again. And as powerful as this emotional shift is, there is still one final truth to share, a truth that ties everything together and explains why consistency is the key to lasting change. Because while one chew may start the process, it is the habit that creates the transformation. And that, my friends, is where we will conclude this journey. Would you like to hear the final step that ensures these changes don't just begin but endure? 8. Conclusion. The final step. So here we are at the end of this journey, and I want to bring everything together for you. We began by uncovering the real enemies men face after 60, the quiet decline of testosterone, the narrowing of blood vessels, the burden of stress, and the hidden fire of inflammation. We explored how such forces, though invisible, can slowly strip away energy, confidence, and joy. But we also discovered that decline is not destiny. We then turned to Clove, the natural powerhouse hiding in plain sight. We looked at eugenol, a compound that reopens circulation and brings oxygen and strength back to the body. We spoke about beta-caryophyllene, a gift that calms the mind, lowers cortisol, and gives testosterone space to rise again. We saw how this tiny spice, chewed for just 60 seconds, becomes a signal, a reminder to your body of what it was always designed to do. We walked through the 60-second habit step by step, a ritual so simple that any man can begin it today. And we traced the timeline from the subtle changes at 7 days to the stronger energy and focus at 14 to the undeniable transformation at 30 days and beyond. We explored the science that makes these changes possible, and we touched on the emotional core, the reason this matters most. Because at the end of it all, it is not just about blood flow or hormones. It is about living life fully, being present with the people you love, and regaining the dignity and confidence that make you who you are. Gentlemen, I want you to understand something important. Your body is not broken. Your strength has not vanished. It is waiting for you to give it the right signal, the right support, the right reminder. Clove is one way to do exactly that. It is not magic. It is not hype. It is simply nature and consistency working together to restore what time tried to steal. So my invitation to you is simple. Tonight, before bed, take those 2 cloves. Chew them slowly, let the warmth spread, and trust the process. Do it again tomorrow and the next day, and keep going. Each minute you give to this habit is a step toward energy, confidence, and vitality that still belong to you. Because life after 60 is not about fading away. It is about thriving, about proving to yourself that you are not done, not by a long shot. And now you know the path. The only question left is this: will you take the first step tonight?